What's up, guys? Welcome to another episode of The Locker Room. I'm here with Josh Dugan. What's going on, bro?
No, not a lot, man. Holidays.
Holidays? Going to Thailand tomorrow?
Yeah,
Wednesday.
Wednesday. 10 days, so looking forward to it.
So what's been happening in off-season, man? You had a big season this year. How you feeling?
Oh, I was pretty busted after the season finished. A few little niggling injuries that, I wanted to get on top of and just rest. So, yeah, I haven't really done too much. I've done a few sessions just sort of trying to stay a bit in shape, but... Yeah, I'm trying to relax at the same time.
Bro, I know exactly how it is, man. I remember I get to the end of the season and mentally I just couldn't even go near a gym or anything like that. I'm pretty bad like that. I'll get too lazy. Now with Netflix, bro. Netflix wasn't around when I was playing. Yeah. Now with Netflix, I'll probably sit there all off season and get fat.
I'll sit there on NFL Game Pass just watching all the games too, yeah.
So have you obviously been watching Hayne?
Yeah, I've been watching him.
Did you watch him today?
No, I missed it actually. I watched the last sort of minute when... Eli Manning threw the game-winning touchdown.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I didn't see that. I just seen like the highlights. How good's he going, bro?
He's going good, man. And like they said something about like it's 3% of college students make it, and for him to go over there,
mate,
get in and do what he's doing, it's it's special. He's an unreal athlete.
And like it's been a year, not even that.
Yeah.
How long was it been? Like what, 10 months?
Yeah, 10 months or something.
The
transition.
Eric, I spoke to Eric Growth last week, and he made a good point of like, people say that it's going to be hard. And don't get me wrong, it's going to be really hard. But Jared Haynes' style of play suits it so much. His broken field play in NRL was second to none.
Yeah, I think that's that rugby league mentality too. You see him take the ball and try and beat the first three blokes rather than take the fair catch and the easy way out. As a fullback, you've always got people coming at you, so you're catching bombs and you're trying to beat the first couple of players.
And you got a line too.
Yeah, exactly. So. He's got people blocking for him now. I can't see him going any better than,
I saw a few weeks ago, I don't know like whether it was the media beating it up, but they said that you'd thought about the NFL. Have you thought about it?
Yeah, I have actually. I spoke to a manager and, he's got a contact over there as well. So just sort of felt the waters out. Haven't really, pursued it too hard or anything like that. Just sort of threw out a tester.
But with Hayne now...
That's what I mean. I think he's opened up the door and, with players with similar style and that sort of thing, for me, whether or not I made it, it wouldn't be about that. It'd be about going over there and giving it, the best I could. And, if I didn't make it, I'm still 25, turning 26.
I was going to say, you're young. You're really young.
I've got a few years under the belt still. So hopefully, if I do get the opportunity, I definitely, love to give it a crack.
And the ironic thing is that you not took his place, but in Origin, you essentially filled his shoes. Obviously Hayne is Hayne and you're Dugan, so you have different, like, small differences. But when NFL scouts look at it, I mean, they used to look at him being the best fullback, and you kind of filled that role. So they'll look at that and say, like, you guys won the year that you came in. The year before, you were on the wing?
I was playing centre last year when we won the series.
Yep.
And then, I played fullback this year.
So, and so they'd actually probably look at that and be like, this guy's come in and they played just as well, essentially. So, yeah, it'd be pretty good to see you over there, man, because I think that especially your body type, you're big, tall. You're probably a bit taller than Hayne, aren't you?
I think we're about the same, if not, I might be
a little bit taller.
Yeah, a little bit taller.
And if there was a team that you could play for, who would it be?
I'd have to play for the Ravens.
Really?
Yeah, I've followed the Ravens ever since I started watching.
Yep.
Love Ray Lewis.
Oh, really? Yeah. You got your tattoo of Ray Lewis?
Yeah, I got a portrait of him on my leg.
We did some fan questions with Reddit, and like it came up like, oh, Ray Lewis has got a tattoo, and they're speaking about NFL. Yeah. So you've watched NFL since you're a kid, kind of thing.
Yeah, probably. Going on 10 years now.
Okay.
Yeah.
So it would
always been a Baltimore fan, and the year I actually got the tattoo was the year they won the Super Bowl.
Oh, really? Fuck, that's mad.
I was actually getting tattooed when they were down against Denver.
Oh, okay,
in the final to get in there, and they ended up winning that and then getting in the Super Bowl.
So obviously, you're committed to the Dragons and everything like that. It's 2017 when your contract's up, hey?
Yeah.
So you'd be 27.
Yep.
So NFL is a real possibility for you. Like now that Jared Haynes kind of done that, and you kind of see that you have similar game styles. NFL is a reality, as in trying kind of.
Yeah, exactly. I've had a good chat with my manager about it, and like I said, if the opportunity did come up, it's something that I definitely, like to pursue. And, worst case scenario, I'll go over there, give it a crack, and I don't make it.
Yeah.
I can always sort of, if there's not an opportunity back here in the NRL, there's the Super League or there's French rugby, that sort of thing.
You'd walk back into NRL.
Living in France,
really?
playing rugby and
Southern France,
traveling, that sort of thing. So
that'd be all right, eh?
Yeah.
Man, I thought you were like 27 or 26, but 25, bro. Fuck, so young. All right, so you're at the Dragons now. You're at the Raiders. Before that, there was room when you switched from, was it 2010? They said that you were, I think 2011 or 2010, that you were eyeing the Roosters. Was that ever a reality, or?
I think it was more like 08, 09.
Oh, okay.
They were saying that I was going to the Roosters when I was in the 20s.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Because there was a heap of talk and that sort of thing.
Yeah.
I'd spoken to Nick Politis a couple of times through my manager and that, but yeah, nothing ever eventuated from it because I was contracted with Canberra, and then sort of down the track, rumours come out again that I was going there, and
so it wasn't really anything that was that.
No, it was never anything that was solid.
Yep. So with the Raiders, like, do you ever look back in that, and now that you've grown up so much, you've been squeaky clean off the field, your footy's playing, do you ever look back and go, I wish I hadn't handled things a bit differently, or you just feel like young, did some stupid shit and kind of moved past it?
Yeah, look, I'm a big believer of, things happen for a reason, and, anything that does happen is a lesson.
Yep.
For me, I don't think I'd be where I am if I didn't, stuff up.
Yep.
I wouldn't change it. It's disappointing the way that it did happen, and I sort of regret a little bit of the way it went down. But at the same time, it was a shit thing that happened. But it made me who I am, and got me to where I am now, and made me grow up a lot, made me realise what I had and what I didn't want to lose, and all that sort of thing. So it was sort of a blessing in disguise, for me to get the boot, and I hold no grudges or anything like that. And Raiders were just looking after their intellectual property and all that sort of thing. So for me, I've moved on, they've moved on, and I think we're both going right.
Was there obviously you don't have to get into detail, but were there any factors outside of what the media kind of portrayed? And because being a footy player, ex-footy player, I know that the media usually tells one tiny % of the story. And obviously you don't have to go to detail, and we can just move past this. But was there any factors outside that if you one day brought them to light, people would be like, oh, okay, I get it?
There's a couple, but I wouldn't. I'm not going to sort of bring them up and go into detail, that sort of thing. But just for me, I think the biggest thing was, being young, and I didn't really have the best off-field life at the time. I was sort of struggling. I was partying a fair bit, just carrying on, being a young dickhead as you do.
As young guys do.
Exactly. And then, that sort of translated onto the field. I wasn't playing that well. I was getting injured a lot, and I wasn't professional enough to, play through those injuries and be back on the field, in a quick amount of time like I am now. So the last couple of years, I think, I've missed maybe 5 games.
Oh, really?
At Canberra, I was missing, 10, 12 games a year.
Because you came on in 2009, debuted?
Yeah, debuted 09.
And you set the world alight, you killed it. And then 2010, there was heaps of build-up and promise. Because I remember I debuted in 2008, and I saw you guys when you beat the Broncos in the NYC Grand Final. You played really well. And, you were the next... That Canberra side had a lot of the next big things. Kind of thing. And that next year, you kind of just you spluttered, you'd have a good game, and then you might be injured. And then, do you feel like that year was also like a growing year for you? Yeah,
I think so. I think it's sort of the way I was managed too. At Dragons, they're really good with the way that they manage me, especially now that I'm playing Origin rep footy and that sort of thing. So they look after me a fair bit when it comes to the training load and all that sort of thing, because you are playing those extra games. Yeah. Whereas, at Canberra, I might get a niggling injury, but I'd run it until it was a proper injury. Okay. So
Canberra was a bit old school back then. Yeah, that's what I mean.
It was a bit old school and that sort of thing. And, I hold no grudges. It was the way that, everything was there. Everyone was the same. And, my body just wasn't ready for that sort of load at the time. And, I think I ran with shin splints for about 8 weeks and that sort of thing. So just certain things like that where, you're just running your body to the point where it breaks, and then I'm missing games and that sort of thing. And at that time too, I wasn't professional enough to look after him to the point where
you're enjoying
I could
your
probably
life
manage it and get through it. Whereas, I was sort of just leaving it on the back burner and running with it, but not taking care of it.
And do you reckon Canberra, because it's such a small kind of city, do you reckon it has because there aren't a lot of things to do, you kind of, not the players get in trouble, but they get bored, so they start doing stupid shit, you know what I mean? Like, I know when I went down to Canberra, like, no offense to Canberra, but I fucking hate Canberra. But, like, there's nothing to do. Like,
yeah,
you know
it's pretty quiet.
Yeah.
And like you said, there's not much to do. I think that's why I think you sort of resort to, you know, going out every weekend after games or whatever to, you know, sort of find something to do.
You're looking kind of thing.
You're looking to do something, and
Yep.
you know, as you said, there's not much to do down there, so you normally ring up one of the boys and say, let's go for a beer, let's go for a punt, that sort of thing. Or
alcohol and the boys is just, and especially when the thing is, people don't realise is, like, not only are you young and, you know, you're finding your feet drinking alcohol, you've also got some money to spend as well, which doesn't help. You know, when you're an apprentice that's 19 years old, you got friggin' you're getting
$300 a week.
Exactly. You can't go. You drink like 10 drinks, and all your money's gone.
Yeah, exactly.
So obviously you had the dramas at the Raiders and they terminated your contract, and then you were going to come to the Broncos, and then more shit happened. Was that just a kind of snowball of everything was just kind of, or was that more like bad timing, like everything just kind of happened at once?
Oh, I think it sort of snowballed from everything. You know, I let a couple of fans get in my head and that sort of thing, and, you know, they disrespected my mum, my grandfather, and
which is
and
something
that sort of thing. So I snapped at the time, and, you know, looking back at it now, that's what they wanted. They wanted me to snap, and you know, I haven't sort of I've learned from that and taken the lesson out of that. You know, when it did happen, I thought I was doing the right thing, sticking up for myself, sticking up for my family, and everything like that. But
what most good men would do,
what normal people would do. But looking back at it, you know, wearing the spotlight and that sort of thing, you have to, you know, be a role model and all that. So, you know, it probably wasn't the right thing to do, but
it's one of those weird things where you like wouldn't really take it back, like, you know, because
I'd never take back sticking up for my family.
Yeah,
and,
definitely.
Know, it cost me the contract at the Bronx, but
look where you are now.
Exactly, and that's what I mean. Again, that comes back to, you know, me believing that everything happens for a reason. It might have been a kick in the teeth at the time, and you know, I look like an idiot in the media's eyes, and
the media,
you know, copped a fair bit of flack for it. But at the same time, you know, it's put me to where I am now. And
so that time in your life, I mean, that's a lot of adversity, bro. Like a lot of guys would not come back from that. A lot of guys would take that, and that would make everything worse for them. It would snowball. What do you reckon in that time where you went from going, this is the toughest period in my life, to the best foot of your life? You know, what do you reckon that was?
Yeah, I'm not too sure. I think I missed about 10 weeks. For the first probably month to 6 weeks, I was in a pretty dark place. And, you know, I was, as you would be, partying Thursday to Monday, like not worrying too much about anything on the outside, not answering anyone's calls and that sort of thing. I just went into a shell and, you know, locked myself in the house. I lived by myself at the time too, so that was even worse. You know, I pretty much just shut myself out from the world. And then even when I did go out with one of my mates or whatever, I'm walking down the street and people have recognised me and whispering to themselves and to their mates and all that sort of thing. So, you know, I didn't go out too much, and then I ended up getting a job with one of my mates painting. He looked after me, but
and did that kind of hit you when you went painting?
I was up at 5 every morning going to work with him, and, you know, knocking off 3-4 o'clock. He was a pretty good boss, but we'd go Fridays. Fridays we'd knock off at lunchtime, go for a feed and a beer, so it wasn't too bad. But you know, that sort of was the eye opener for me, going back to, you know, hard labour and that sort of thing. And you know, when I did get back into footy,
you appreciated it more.
I appreciated it more. I knew what I'd lost, what I didn't want to lose again. And at Canberra, I sort of took things for granted. I was getting by on raw talent. You know, I come through the juniors there, and, you know, I sort of always knew my ability and everything like that. And the club sort of didn't keep that a secret with me either. So, you know, I sort of knew that my spot was safe for as long as that I was playing there. And, you know, I was going through the motions at the time. And I think losing everything made me realise that you have to, you know, put in that effort day in, day out to stay at the top. And, you know, making Aussies this year was another big eye-opener for me, seeing how you know, hard-working all the guys are, like Cam Smith, Billy Slater, you know, GI, like all that. It just, you know, opened my eyes up again, and, you know, just made me want to go to that next level as well.
And the thing is, you can go to that next level. A lot of players can't, but you have the ability to, especially when you've been through that adversity and come out better. And another story, I agree with you with the hard work. I remember it was Darren Lockyer's 17th preseason. His 17th preseason, and he rocks up. You know how usually you train for maybe like the Australian boys won't come back for maybe a month and a half, 2 months into preseason. So we'd been doing preseason for like a month and a half, nearly 2 months. Lockyer rocks back up and he's 17th preseason and does the fastest time in the 1.2K.
Yeah.
Does the fastest time out of the whole thing. I was like, is this guy serious? You think he's wrestling
his
2
months off.
Bro, he just had 2 months off, comes back fully shredded, and I was like, man, that's why he is what he is.
Exactly.
That hard work.
Played 18 years or whatever. So.
Oh man. So you get to the Dragons. It's a weird time for the Dragons when you did come because Price was very shaky, and but you still seemed to play really good footy. What do you reckon? Would you reckon it was a system that they kind of had in place, or was it just the want to get it back?
I think it was a bit of both. I think that the system that they had there was unreal. It still is. Pricey sort of set that up. He got me to the Dragons, and he took a chance on me.
Yep.
There was a lot of people saying that he was stupid for it. It'd be a matter of time before I'm back on the scrap heap, all this and that. And he put his neck out for me. So I've got to thank him for a lot that has happened. And just being back playing footy, as you said, you lose it. You're not playing for 10 weeks. You're watching it on TV, and you're just like, you want to be back around the boys. You want to do all this and that, and just that desire again. It was back. I had that fire in my belly again to play good footy, and try and achieve the goals that I set out for myself when I was younger.
So you've gone since you came back. All up so far, you played 8 Origin games. You played 1 Australia, 2 All Stars, 2 Origin, 1 Prime Minister, and you've played 120 NRL games, and you're 25. It's impressive, bro. Do you ever look back and go, man, like this is like, especially with the period you spent struggling with injury, struggling with all the stuff off field. Do you ever look back and go, shit, like this is I've come from like the next big thing to nearly losing everything to back to one of the best players in the game. Does ever sit back and go, shit, man? Like,
yeah, I don't really look at it like that.
Really?
Like, just thinking about what you said then. When I was at Canberra, the only thing that I probably did think was, I was sort of injury prone a bit when I was there, and I was always wondering whether I'd even make my 100 game.
Really?
I was always sort of worried about that because of my injuries, and I never really had a serious injury, but it was always just little niggles after little niggles, and I'd always be missing games and that sort of thing, and once I got to the Dragons, I played the final 11 games in 2013. I missed, I think, 2 or 3 games last year, and 2 games this year. So, I've played 60 games in the last 3 years, which you kind of know what you need to do. Because I've doubled. I played 6 seasons at Canberra. 5 seasons at Canberra, and played 50 odd games, and I've come to the Dragons and doubled it in 3 years.
That's crazy. And you're playing more footy now.
Yeah, exactly. I played 2 games Origin, 2 games last year, and 3 this year, as well as Aussie. So it's a big feat for me considering my history with injuries and that sort of thing. So
it's crazy, man. It's impressive, man. So when you did get the call up for Origin, what was that like for you? Was it just like, could you believe it, or was it one of those situations where you were expected to make the side, or was it just, what was that like for you, the Origin call-up?
In 2013, I never expected that. That was always at the back of my mind because I'd missed so much game time at the start of the year. I come back round 11, I think, or round 12.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
And you got picked for it?
Yeah, I got picked. I got picked for the last 2 games in 2013 because Hainsey did his hemi.
Oh, okay,
And then, I was never ever thinking about Origin. I just wanted to be back playing footy and doing all the right things. That's crazy.
Because you came to the Dragons was it 2012, or was that
halfway through 13?
13.
Yeah.
And then that's when you got selected as well.
Yeah.
Actually, I remember in the media they were like, "Oh, it's too big a risk, rah." And then you got picked and got wow, man, that's crazy. So what was that like? Were you like, what's going on here?
I was just happy to be back playing footy. The Dragons took me in. All the boys made me feel welcome, and
it's a good group of boys.
Yeah, a great group of boys there, and that's why when I signed, because they gave me a 6-month contract.
Yep.
Everything went well. Then they'd look to extend me, and when they did, I wanted to go long term to repay the faith. They went out on a limb for me, and I just wanted to repay that. So I signed for 4 years, and again, I'll probably look at extending.
Yep. And that signing 4 years, was that a big relief because you've kind of achieved that? I'm back now. Like, I'm fully back. There's no like 1 or 2 year deals. This is a 4 year deal, so I've got 4 years of footy at a club that I enjoy, kind of thing.
Yeah, exactly. Again, I enjoyed my time so much in that 6 months and got along so well with everyone at the club, and love the culture, love the structure of it. I wanted to set myself up for the next 4 years, and
yep.
I didn't want to take a risk, doing 2 year deals and that sort of thing.
Especially if you get injured.
Exactly, and I just wanted to, set myself up.
Yep, definitely. So the Australian call-up, was that expected, or was that another shock for you? Was that kind of shit? Like, I didn't really expect that, or?
I felt like I was playing pretty good footy.
Yep.
Mary's pretty in the know as well, so he sort of tipped me up every now and then, saying, you're a good chance.
Yep.
And I actually spoke to Sheensy in camp, and he said he was tossing up whether to pick me at centre or wing, and
we just like, whatever, man.
I don't care. Just give me the jersey, and I'll go out there and do my best. So, it was an awesome experience, and I was unfortunate about the result, but it's still something that I dreamed of as a kid, to play for Australia. And
what was it like putting on that jersey and sitting, like, singing the anthem and stuff like that? What was that like for you?
I had
surreal
goosebumps and that sort of thing, and I always look up to the sky. I pop and uncle obviously, so I always look up, and I was just sitting there in the middle, hugging all the boys, singing the anthem, just looking up, going, how good is this?
Yeah, yep. And that 2014 Origin win, what do you reckon was what was the difference that the New South Wales brought to the table, do you think, that year that made you win it?
Yeah, I'm not too sure, actually. I think, obviously our defence. Our defence was massive last year. I think we had something like 20 try saves in the
really?
3 games. So
20 try saves?
To hold the line and, stop a great side like Queensland scoring tries. You could see what they did. They did it to us in game 3, So, that was probably the biggest thing for us last year. And, this year, there's just that game 1, letting that slip.
Yep.
And then, obviously winning game 2. But
game 1, if you win that,
Queensland's a whole different beast. And,
100%.
In a decider as well. Hodjo's last Origin.
Yeah.
It's just so much emotion in it up there in the decider. And, I think we just weren't ready. We didn't handle that first 10-15 minutes, and Queensland being Queensland got a roll on, and we just couldn't come back.
And what was the feeling when you sat there and compared like the winning feeling? Obviously that was dramatically different, but that winning feeling and then that third game, do you feel like you took a step back at all in that third game last year, or do you feel like it was just a blip on the radar and it kind of, you can wipe it under the carpet and move forward?
Yeah, I think we just didn't turn up.
Yep.
I think it's just one of those ones that you just scrap, forget about, and you focus on the first 2 games. I think the first 2 games we played it unreal, and
because you were one call away from in the first game. You were one call away from winning.
We I think we left going for the field goal a bit too late, and lapse in concentration as well. Not hitting the preferred field goal taker, and that sort of thing sort of cost us, but. Again, we went in at halftime leading, and we let it slip. We just didn't complete in that second half, didn't get out of our end, and Origin's a game of yardage, and if you don't win that yardage battle, it's it's going to be hard to win.
And do you prefer, what's your preferred position, centre, fullback, or?
I'm still pretty undecided.
Really?
Last year I played centre. I played fullback and then centre. I played 13 games in centre. Had a ball.
It's weird because you play so well in either position, so it's hard to kind of, you know what I mean?
Yeah, it's hard because I love playing fullback, getting kick returns, just tearing it back, making them as many meters as I can, that sort of thing. And this year for me, my defence was massive. I think that's the biggest reason why I think Mary wants me at the back is because I'm sort of pretty good at getting myself into positions to stop tries.
Yeah, and that's a fullback specialty.
Yeah, exactly.
As well.
And I think Mary showed me the stats for the year, and I think I had about 58 try saves for the year. So, for me, that's one of the things that I pride myself on is my defence. And
you're a much bigger fullback too, so that obviously helps
so
too.
I've got a bit of size behind me where I can defend in the line if I have to. So. The biggest thing for me, if I was to move back to centre, Mary's got to find someone to be able to do those sort of things.
Yeah, that's true. And also, you don't really have you've got. Don't get me wrong, you've got good fullbacks, but not like the quality that you kind of bring at the back there. Whereas you can kind of slot someone in the centre and just he can be there and do some okay. You know what I mean? Like you can slot. Whereas fullback is such a specialty. Like to bring.
Exactly. It's part of the spine, and you got to be able to sort it out.
And the coming year, have you kind of thought about it, or is it just you're just going to continue to train hard, continue to try to do the right thing, and just move forward? Or is the coming year, is it something that you reckon you're going to keep playing better footy, or what's the kind of plan?
Yeah, look, I think this year was my best year.
Yep.
Form-wise, career-wise, everything, and I'll obviously look to build on that as much as I can. Rip into pre-season and just trying to keep playing consistent footy, and hopefully the rest follows after that.
And what would be like your craziest kind of memory where you're just like, man, I can't believe that's just happened, like playing footy? What would be something that you look back, whether it be watching someone do something crazy or whatever, what would you reckon would be the craziest memory you've had playing footy that you've taken stock of it and been
the first thing that comes to my mind is the All-Stars game when I got to play with Benji and all that as a 19-year-old. So,
you were young as too, eh? Didn't you win the man of the match or something?
Yeah,
like
I got man of the match. I think it was 2010.
So you got man of the match with guys like Benji.
2011, yeah. So I played. I got picked at fullback because I think Billy was injured or something. So I wasn't even supposed to get picked. And then so I played, and I scored a 60-meter try for letting Mateo offload, and that sort of sticks in my mind. And there's a photo that I've got at home of Benji sort of like embracing me after I scored and that sort of thing. And then when Benji come the other year, it was exciting to be able to play with him again because he's so good. You can see what he does this year.
Oh man, he's so good.
He had a great year this year, and hopefully we all build on it next year.
And what do you reckon? Who would you say someone that you've played with that people don't understand how kind of good they are to play with? Obviously Benji's awesome to play with, but who's someone an underrated player that you've played with and you've been like, man, he's a guy that I'll always have on my side no matter what kind of thing?
Apart from Ginge, Ben Cray, obviously, like you see what he battles. Like he battles week in, week out. With his body and that sort of thing, and he's always there on the field, giving 100%. Other than him, probably Pete Matiatia. I think
is he a centre?
He's our centre. He's just got great ball handling skills, and his defence is probably one of the best in the team. And
really?
I just think he's fairly underrated, and he's had a great year this year, and I think he's cemented his spot, and
which has helped you guys a lot.
Exactly.
Because
so,
he's a centre.
And then you got Ewan Aiken as well, a young kid coming through.
He's good,
19,
man.
Playing 23 games for the year.
Really?
I think he played every game. So
does he come off the bench 14 or was he centre?
No, he's a centre. He's a young
number
centre.
three. Number three.
Little bulldozer.
Yeah, he's quick, man.
I think he could be a back rower actually.
Really?
Yeah, he runs pretty good lines and he's strong and
isn't he like pretty short though?
I think he's about 6 foot. But
really?
Yeah. So
man, he looks short on the TV, man.
Little bulldozer, but he had a great year for a young kid coming into grade. You don't see many people or many kids coming in and playing a full season, in the centre.
And what would you say the distinct difference, like we spoke about players that you play with at the Dragons, what would you say the distinct difference is between Canberra and the Dragons, like culture-wise and training-wise?
I'm not too sure what it's like now, but back when I was there, it was a bit old school, as you say. You do a fair bit of running, and there was times in pre-season where we'd run 6K before even touching the ball.
Oh, bro!
So we'd be doing we'd do 4 or 5 1.2s, and then
4 or 5 1.2s.
Yeah, but our 1.2s were 3 laps of the 400 meter.
What?
So we're just like triathletes at the time.
Bro, that's crazy.
Yeah,
man.
and then we go in and do the ball work skills and that sort of thing, and that's why I had shin splints for so long. But the biggest thing at the Dragons is it's all game sort of related stuff.
Yep.
Last year was awesome with Mary taking over. He just wanted to get game related everything. So if we were doing,
he's a good coach.
If we were doing fitness or conditioning, it'd always be something to do with the game.
Yep.
And they broke everything down from a game and said, you do 10 minutes of hard running in the game, so you're at full speed for 10 minutes of the 80.
Okay,
so
that's good, man.
You do 2 blocks of 5 minutes of full speed, and then you do like your defence and fitness games and all that sort of thing. So last year was good, and it makes me want to retire every year pre-season, but it's something you got to do.
And the NYC Grand Final match, was that something that you a pretty cherished memory for you, because it was obviously the first kind of exposure you had to the big game kind of thing? Was that something that you remember as, even though it was NYC, still up there with kind of NRL? Or
yeah, definitely. my pop actually passed away in 08, and it was before the Dragons semi, actually, when we beat the Dragons NYC to get into the grand final. And you know, we had the week off from beating Titans at Shark Park, and he passed away that night, actually, and then we had the week off.
Man, that's
and then then we went and played the Dragons at ANZ or Allianz, I think it was, and then played the Bronx in the grand final.
And that didn't you win at the last
Golden
moment?
Point. We got ahead, and then Jarrell stripped the ball off Travis Waddell on the line and just fell over the line and scored. It was 24-all, and you know, OT, and then
those two sides. Most of those guys are in NRL now.
Yeah, exactly. I think it's a ridiculous amount. I think there's close to 25 of the boys from the two teams that have played first grade.
That's crazy, man. And we before we get to the fan questions, I want you to walk me through your awesome fight with it was Tyrone. What was his
Tyrone Roberts.
Yeah. Can we walk through that? It's just there on the iPad. That fight, man. It felt like you just like, you know what, fuck it, I'm just gonna do it. I'm just gonna, it's like you didn't even think about you, so I'm just gonna throw it. Because he came at you, hey, didn't he?
Yeah, he actually slapped me and ran off, and then I chased him down.
Were you like automatically thinking I'm going to punch him here, or was it just you didn't even think?
I just sort of balked him, and then I seen him throw this big haymaker, and I sort of ducked it and that sort of thing. We shook hands after the game. It was just one of them things, you know. Yeah. He slapped me, I chased after him and just sort of balked him, and then he's gone to throw it.
You got a few good ones on him, man.
I grabbed him and just sort of shirt punched him.
Yeah.
And then I seen him just load up. I sort of ducked it, come up, got him with a couple, and then he got me with a couple, and then, you know, both in the sin bin.
Man,
which was pretty funny because, you know, it was the first punch thrown all year after they brought that punch.
I was going to say, there hadn't been a punch thrown in ages, and like everyone was like begging for just one fight. And
last game of the year, we couldn't go any further. I was like,
did that cross your mind at all? You're like, if someone starts today, I'm just gonna throw them. Who cares? It's the last game.
It was just sort of like, I don't like halfbacks being cheeky and that sort of thing. And when he slapped me, I just sort of was like, you know, stuff this.
Right, because I was, a few weeks ago, I was saying, I reckon the one punch rule is a tactical disadvantage to bigger guys. Because if you're a little small guy, like if you're a winger like me, I can stir you up all I want.
Yeah.
And there's nothing you can do.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? Whereas back in the day, I couldn't do any of that because you just flogged me.
You're scared they're going to flog you. And that's why I sort of was like, I'm not letting the halfback put it over me.
All right. We've got some fan questions, bro. Just there's a forum online on Reddit that there's a good bunch of dudes that big footy fans. So favorite tattoo. What's your favorite tattoo on your body?
It'd have to be the portraits of my mum, dad, and sister on my right calf. I got mum and dad on their wedding day. I actually got on their 25-year anniversary.
Oh, really?
The year that I got it, yeah.
And tats, is something tattoos, has that always been, you've really liked them, or has it been later in life you've took more
No, I can remember 14 watching Miami Ink and
really?
just loving the artwork of it. And
is that Kat Von D or is that LA?
LA's Kat Von D. I think Army James is Miami. But I've always loved the artwork of it, love the way that they're done and that sort of thing. And you know, my pop lived in Japan for, you know, a good while, so I always, you know, learned about the Japanese folklore and all that sort of thing. So
okay. And in Japan, isn't it like you've got to be Yakuza or something to get tattoos or something like that? Or isn't it like pretty cultural?
You're allowed to get tattoos over there, but the full body suits are normally the Yakuza, and they don't have any tattoos showing, so they're always in suits and stuff like that.
That's cool.
So they cut off about here and you know, here, so they're like 3/4 sleeves. But
I didn't know that.
They don't have any showing.
That's cool, man. That's cool. A bit of pub for you. Did you feel any pressure filling Haynes' shoes because he, you know, played so well in Origin? Was there any pressure, or were you just like, you know what, I'm just going to play my game and that's kind of the end of it?
Oh, mate, I was massively nervous.
Oh, really?
You know, taking over. Like, I'm confident in my ability and that sort of thing, but you know, just having the pressure of the whole state, you know, watching you with both, you know, Hawkeyes, just like, you do anything wrong, you know, it's basically your fault because you're taking over this and that. And like, it sort of got to me a little bit during the week, but you know, once I was on that field, it was just another day, and you know, I just went out there and did my thing and did the best I could for the state. And I'm proud of the way that I took over, but hopefully I did the state proud and that sort of
No,
thing.
you played good, bro. You 100%. Like, I mean, I myself was like, man, how do you feel Haynes' shoes? Especially when he got to Origin, he played unbelievable. But you played good, bro. You're 100%.
Yeah, I think he's played, close to 30 Origins or something like that.
Really? I didn't know he played 30 Origins.
He's a freak, I think he's got the player of the series and that sort of thing as well. So he's just a special player, and for me to take over, it was a bit daunting, but hopefully I did a good job.
Nah, you did, bro. I wouldn't say if you didn't. You 100% did. Okay. How do you rate your Origin performances this year? Actually, that's pretty much the same question. No, that's too stupid.
What was it?
Is there any place on your body that hasn't been tattooed yet, and can we see it?
You censor it.
I mean, obviously I ask you this, but like, do you regret that afternoon on the rooftop with Fergo? Do you wish you chose a different drink other than Pineapple Cruiser?
At least he's got it right. Normally everyone says breezer.
So, oh, really?
Yeah, everyone says breezer. You want another breezer, this and that.
Look, if you're going to talk shit,
exactly,
at least get it right.
That's what I say on the field. I'm like, you keep saying breezer, but it's cruiser. Come on, like, you got to get it right if you're going to, try and spray me. But, look, it was just one of them things you do when you're on the piss and that sort of thing. And I put the photo up, not, meaning anything by it. It was just me being drunk, having a good time.
Thinking it was a good idea,
Thinking it's a good idea, and, next thing you know, you've got the head coach in the room, and you're up shit creek.
So at what point were you? Did it all like? Did it hit you that night, or was it that when you woke up the next morning, like feeling, obviously you had a few drinks? Was it the next morning you're like, oh shit, when you had like missed calls and shit like that?
Yeah, it was the next morning. I woke up to a knock at the door from the football manager. Giving me a letter saying I had to meet with the board and that sort of thing.
Giving you a letter?
Yeah, clause for getting sacked and that. Yeah. So that was when it sort of sunk in that it was a big sort of stuff up. And
did you at least enjoy the night?
Yeah, I did actually. It was a pretty good night with a few of the boys, but it just wasn't the smartest way to go about it all.
You were like what, 21?
Nah, 23.
23.
22. Sorry, yeah.
Man, 22-year-olds have done a lot of stupid shit.
Yeah,
man.
Exactly. But
it'll go down in rugby league folklore though. the cruiser, bro. I see. Thing is, bro, I love cruisers, man. I hate beer.
You can't drink beer for.
Oh, bro.
Honestly.
And like everyone's like, oh, cruisers. I'm like, oh, sorry that the cruiser tastes nice. Like I don't understand.
Just lolly water.
Yeah,
it's like drinking soft drink.
Oh, so I've got to drink something that tastes like shit so that you make me more of a man. I'm more of a man as long as it tastes like shit. It's a manly drink. Yeah. All right. This is from honest dad. Honestly, why can't you pull your socks up?
Because I get cramps.
Oh, really?
Yeah. I hate wearing my socks up.
Really?
I used to wear them up all the time, and I used to put electrical tape around them so they stayed up.
Yeah.
And then I started cramping. I think my calves got a bit too big.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Because someone says here, everyone knows you run faster with socks pulled down. Someone like answered his question.
Got to show off the tats too.
Yeah, 100%, bro. So if I had big calves, man, I've got little shit calves, so I can't do it. But
I've got a little bit chicken legs.
I've kind of already asked you, but you seem to become more professional since you began playing in 2009 as you came to the Dragons. Do you find the culture at the Dragons differs from Canberra? I've kind of answered that. Do you see yourself at St. George for life? Obviously, other than if you would NFL be the only thing that could drag you away from St. George, you reckon? Or?
Yeah, I think so. Or depending on the way that you go when you sort of age in your career. I could end up in England or overseas somewhere. But for now, I think Dragons is my future, and the only thing that I can see that would maybe take a chip out of that is the NFL. If I did get an opportunity.
Yeah. Man, I would love to see that, bro. If you do get that opportunity, I'll be your biggest fan. I'll post all your shit.
I'll even play for Detroit Lions. They haven't won a game yet.
Really?
Yeah, they're 5-0.
Well, the 49ers, they've only won what, one out of four?
Yeah,
1 out of 4.
1 out of 5 today. Cincinnati's 5-0.
Really?
1-5.
Man, I you know what I love about the NFL is like how like obviously it's professional, but just how slick everything is.
Yeah.
Like just everything is done. So you know what else I don't get is like, so we look overseas and they obviously are ahead of the NRL when it comes to training.
Yeah.
Why don't we train backs way different to the way we train forwards? like for example, like obviously their running backs do heaps of speed work,
Yeah.
explosive. Like whereas with us in NRL, well, when I used to play, we would do the same fitness as a forwards, and I'm like, why are we doing this? We do a completely different kind of footy.
You need to sort of make it position specific, so that not everyone's doing the same thing. Because it's like me doing 100, like an hour of wrestling.
Yeah.
When I make 5 tackles a game,
exactly.
it's not sensible.
Yeah, exactly. It's like me too. I make 5 tackles a game, miss 4, and and the other one I got help from someone else. No, the other one was a flop. How close were you to Brisbane? Because I think I was there at the time. How close were you to? Was it a done deal? Was it like as in you were coming, or?
Yeah, it was actually pretty much done.
Really?
I went up, met with Hook and Andrew G and did the dinner at Hook's and that sort of thing. So they took me in, and it was awesome to sort of go up there and meet him and his family, and it just didn't end up that way.
And this comes from Bongiorno, whatever. And this is actually probably from this show, Mundine or Hain. Greatest athlete ever. I don't know if you watched a few weeks ago, Mundine said that in his opinion, he was the greatest athlete.
I think they're both, unreal athletes. They've both 100%. Done awesome things in 2 different sports.
It's so different. It's hard to say.
It's hard to say, which one's better. You look at Chalk's career in boxing. It's probably just as good as his NRL career. And Hainesy's just beginning his career in the NFL. So it's hard to say. When you look at the stats of who makes it over there, for him to go over there and in 10 months be in a full-time squad,
crazy, man. It's crazy.
It's a great achievement, and it's just got to wait and see the future.
You know what I don't get with the whole Mundine controversial is like, that's his opinion, and he's entitled to that. And also, he clearly says what Haynes does is magnificent, and everyone people took it like it offended them. You should say in the comments, bro. I was like, what's he doing? Like, he's just saying his opinion.
Oh yeah, exactly. Like, everyone's entitled to their opinion, and Chalk's never made it a secret that he's.
But he's a boxer.
Confident in himself, and being a boxer, you're a one-man team anyway. So you sort of have to have that.
You tell me a boxer that doesn't believe him.
Exactly. So
it's ridiculous.
If you're a boxer and you're going in there and you're doubting yourself on whether you're the best or not, you're beaten already.
Yep. Do you and Adam Reynolds compare haircuts? Ace of Spades.
We actually used to get haircut by the same bloke.
Really?
So,
That's a good spot by him then. Do you believe the Dragons can win a comp sometime soon? That's for Death and Ruin.
Yeah, I think this year was sort of a stepping stone in the right direction for us. We lose Mez, but I think we've gained a fair bit with a few of our signings for next year, and we got Russell Packer coming into the pack as well.
He's going to be so good, man.
He's going to be unreal for us, and
you put a ciggy out of my head.
We just need to, but that's what I mean. He's got that mongrel, and I think we just need a big forward that's got that mongrel that's not going to take shit from anyone, and he's just going to put it right back at him. Like, you look at the Roosters with J-Dub. Yep. He's just an enforcer, and I think we lack that at the moment.
I think a lot of teams like that, man. I honestly think that we've moved away from that. When I really feel that physical presence that some guys like Hargreaves bring is so vital, especially in the forwards, man.
Exactly, and I know when I'm running, I'm not running at J-Dub because he's trying to kill me.
He's going to rip your head off.
Exactly. So we got a few good signings. Dynamis Louis, he's going to be another good signing for us. Kurt Mann's coming into the back line from Melbourne, so. Yeah, we got a few good players coming next year, so it'll be pretty exciting to see how we go. All right, bro. That's it, man. I appreciate it. Thanks so much for coming on. Thanks for having me. It's been good. We've gone actually over time, so I apologise for that. That's all right. But yeah, thanks for coming on, bro. No dramas. Thanks for having me. Thank you. That's it, bro.